Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Erica and I'm so glad you're here. Today we are making a super cute Easter tumbler that was legitimately the tumbler and the video from my nightmares. From start to finish, this thing fought me, but hopefully it's entertaining to watch. Okay, let's do this. Okay, so I'm starting with a 20-ounce skinny straight sublimatable tumbler from Stainless Steel Depot, and I went ahead and printed my own vinyl using a pattern I found on Creative Fabrica. I do have a membership. I highly recommend it if you're going to be doing decals and stuff. It's just fantastic. So I took the pattern, I replicated it in Photoshop, and then I went ahead and printed it out onto Hayes Paper Co. printable sticker vinyl, and then I went ahead and I covered the printable vinyl with a sheet of self-adhesive laminate, that's Avery brand, so that it would be waterproof. So I'm just going through and using my squeegee to attach that to the tumbler. So it's a little bit difficult. Sticker paper is fairly thick in and of itself, and then when you add the adhesive laminate to it, it's even thicker, so it's not like as stretchy and workable as regular vinyl would be. It still works out fine, but it's just not quite as easy to use. So I did go in here with my paper trimmer, and because it has the two different layers with the sticker paper and the laminate sheet, there's my head, hello, it took a few tries, a few passes, and I did have to use my craft knife a little bit, but it worked out in the end. Okay, so here's attempt one at my 3D objects, which are going to be two bunnies and an Easter egg. You can see some that I made over to the right with some resin. I went ahead and used a really nice sort of frost blue colored mica powder in this resin. It ended up looking a little more turquoise, but that's okay. So what I did is, before these were fully set, I took them out and placed them on a different tumbler on top of plastic wrap so it wouldn't stick, and I went ahead and taped them down to try to get them to stick or to cure in the shape of the tumbler. It did not work. They weren't malleable enough to change shape to the tumbler, but they were malleable enough that the painter's tape stuck to them and marred the surface. So we'll try again. I spray painted the non-vinyled parts with Rust-Oleum's Ocean Mist, and then I went ahead and put 2 coats of Tack, let those dry, and I'm gonna go in with that same mica, the blue frost color, which again, instead of being like a mint green, looks like a turquoise, but I was sort of pot committed at that point. Couldn't do much about it, so I just left it. And I'm using a nice fluffy brush. The best technique I found was to go with a really, really light touch and just move back and forth in sort of a smooth motion. So you'll see me kind of start to do that here. I'm actually using sort of the side of the brush. But yeah, that seemed to work pretty well, and I did both ends. Then I went ahead and I sealed it in with gloss varnish. And in hindsight, I should have just sprayed it with clear, because as you can see me doing some work here to wipe it up, the mica did sort of run underneath the varnish. Turned out okay. Here goes my first coat of resin. My camera mount, there's something wrong with the camera mount at my resin table, so I'm sorry, it is gonna go wonky here. I do fix it, and I think I actually fixed the problem, so that's good. But that was just one of what seemed like 6 million different issues that came up with this tumbler. When I tell you this tumbler almost broke me, I'm not even kidding. I literally had to walk away from this for a couple of days, and you'll see why. There I am, popping some bubbles. Okay, so this is attempt number 2. I decided I would use Polymer Clay. Have I ever used Polymer Clay for anything in my life? Nope. Did this seem like a good time to try? Apparently so. So this was really difficult because that mold is very flimsy. It's meant for like cake or chocolate. So I couldn't push the clay in hard enough to get the details without causing it to become misshapen. I just did the best that I could. It didn't look great, but I was committed to it. So I went ahead, and before I baked them, I decided to color them with the same mica powder and then a couple other colors for accents. It actually looks really cute. I really like the way it turned out. I used a pink and an orange and then that sort of turquoisey color. And those go into the oven, 275, and it said to do it for 45 minutes. I think that was too long. And this is why. You'll see they're burnt to a crisp. So cute, but totally burned. So here I am at attempt number 3. This is literally my 3rd attempt to make these 3D objects. And I'm doing the best I can to fix the misshapen parts and to kind of trim it all up, smooth it out, make it look nice. But honestly, that mold's not meant for it. I didn't have a properly sturdy mold for Polymer Clay, so it just never looked right. There's my head again. So those go into the oven. I only did like 20 minutes for that one, much better. And I don't know if the mica powder had anything to do with it burning either, but I decided I was going to go ahead and just use some acrylic paint to paint these. And that worked out pretty well. The acrylic paint didn't have great coverage in any of the colors for the first round, so I did have to do a couple of coats. Excuse my arm there, I'm probably typing a response to a text message on my iPad. But I went ahead and just pulled some colors out of the pattern vinyl and then got to painting. Now, because the clay was slightly misshapen, like the little dots on the egg you see there were kind of elongated on the sides. So I had a heck of a time trying to paint this to make it look better. I'm not super excited with how they turned out, just as far as I feel like I could have done a better job with a different mold, but it is what it is. So I'm using blue shifting to green holographic vinyl and pink shifting to yellow holographic vinyl to make these pinstripes. This will be attempt number 1. I lay down this one stripe along the seam, trim it, it's looking good, I'm feeling good about it. And right there you'll see I took this one off and it ripped. Notice I'm doing the seam again. That's because inexplicably the Cricut app on my iPad only saves older versions. So I have a file for pinstriping and I had changed the sizes on the pinstripes. And even though I saved it, Cricut had my old original file, so I had no idea what size it was. The original vinyl didn't cut all the way through, and so I had to do it again. I'm having a lot of trouble with design space in my Cricut. So I go through and you can see it ripped yet again. So my Cricut hadn't cut through again. So this is the second time I've cut the blue holographic. I thought the pink to yellow holographic was okay. My Cricut is having issues cutting on the right-hand side of the mat. So it was okay until it got to that point. Those actually ripped too. I was able to salvage those, but I ended up having to cut the vinyl for the blue pinstriping a third time. So if you're counting, that's 3 times with the 3D elements and now 3 times with the pinstriping. Here I am trying to just cut down the sides thinking, okay, I'm gonna save this, and let me tell you, I can't cut a straight line to save my life on a really good day. So on a day where I'm already frustrated, forget about it. I tried and I tried and I gave up. And it was actually at that point that I had to walk away for a couple of days and come back when I was feeling better about everything. So here's pinstripe number 3. Okay, and here are some stickers I printed out on that same printable vinyl, and you can actually see me attaching a sheet of the clear adhesive laminate to this. So this is exactly what I did with my printable vinyl wrap. So there's other stickers on there, of course, because I didn't want to waste an entire sheet on just the bunny sticker. So I decided to go with the phrase, "Don't worry, be hoppy," for my decal. I needed something fun and whimsical at this point, so that's what I went with. And the offset is in the blue to green holographic, and then of course the top part is in the pink to yellow. And then there's my bunny sticker. I made an offset out of the blue to green vinyl for him because he just wasn't standing out enough when put onto the wrap that was basically the same thing. You couldn't see it, so made an offset attaching that. And now I'm attaching the 3D elements. I did a little measuring to try to space them out evenly, and I used hot glue for this. Now, in using the hot glue, it didn't actually sit flush against the cup. So they had a little bit of a raised edge around them. And I was concerned that when I put my final coat of epoxy on, I would get bubbles around that because it was open. So off camera, I do end up going around the edges with UV resin to make sure that everything is closed off and there's no chance for air bubbles. Once I did that, I went ahead and went over all of the vinyl elements, including my decal, and I went over the rabbits and the egg with gloss varnish, just to make sure there was no lifting and no problems under that final layer of resin. Okay, so after this was dry to the touch, I leave it for a couple hours just to be safe. I went in with my final coat of epoxy, which is the Speed Dry from Mr. Nola's Glitter. And this cup is finally all done. I'm so glad to have gotten this done. And this video was actually supposed to be a part of an Easter collaboration with other crafters, but I had so many problems with the cup Not to mention all of the myriad issues I also had with my computer and the video editing software. I am telling you, things went sideways at every turn. I had no chance of getting this done in time, period. Just wasn't gonna happen. Here it is, it's done. I'm so glad to be done with this, and I can't wait to start something new and fresh, and hopefully that goes much smoother. You can find me on these other socials. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and of course, subscribe. Thank you so much for being here. Take care, be well, and I'll see you soon.